Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Make Up Together, how to make a simple dinner. So Friday nights is when we make hot dogs, french fries, and chili. It's just our family tradition that we've had going for a while. But I wanted to try to switch it up a little bit. So I was looking up a bunch of different potato recipes, and I came across one that I've wanted to try in a long time. It is called the Hasselback potato. Now I know that sounds like such a hassle to make, but it's actually really simple and easy, and I'm going to stuff it with a bunch of delicious things. They do take an hour to make, so if you are going to make these Hasselback potatoes, make sure that you're doing it on a night where you have a little bit of extra time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on these potatoes. Alright, so I have some potatoes out here that I washed and cleaned up. So, in some of the things that I saw for making these potatoes, they said cut off the bottom so that they're flat, but I tried to pick some that were kind of flat already, just because I don't want to cut off that extra piece and then not eat it. So we're just going to make them like this. So, the trick to this is that you're going to cut the potatoes in slits, and you want to get close to the bottom, but you don't want to cut it all the way through, or else you're just going to cut your potato. So I'm going to start just at the ends, and I'm just going to do a little slit. And I stopped like right there, so it's not too, if you can kind of see how deep that is. Looks like a little blobfish. But I'm going to cut them like that. I'm going to try to keep them that same width in all of the slits that I do. And I'm going to try to keep them going at the same depth. So the hard part for these is really just trying to make sure that you don't cut the potato in half. So I'm just going to keep checking it. I saw some that said if you put like 2 wooden spoons like on the side of it, but I like to be able to move the potato a little bit more. So I don't think that would work for me. I'm just going to eyeball it very carefully to try to see. And then once they cook, then the parts will separate a little bit more. I'm assuming. This is actually my first time making it. So I really don't know how that's going to work. And so since we normally have hot dogs and chili, we're going to have hot dogs just on the side, and then on these I'm going to be slicing up some cheese to put in some of the slits, and then we're going to be just putting chili on top of it. Alright, so just cutting that. That seems to be doing nicely. Alright. I know my hand's kind of covering it, but I'm getting down to that end piece there. Alright, so that was pretty simple, and I managed not to cut them at all. Alright, so that's what we have, like that. And then once we cut them, it'll be a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of the potatoes, and then I'm going to show you how I prep them on the pan. Alright, so I have all the potatoes cut. I was able to cut them all without cutting through them, which is nice. So I'm going to olive oil the pan, and then I'm going to put the potatoes on there. They're not really going to expand, so it doesn't. However they can fit on your pan is how you should do it. Alright, and so then I'm going to get like a butter mixture together. It's going to have butter and seasonings, and then we're just going to paint it on top of the potatoes. Alright, so I have some melted butter right here. I'm going to be adding just a little bit in there. Just a little bit of salt. If it'll come out. Alright. A little bit of pepper. And a little bit of dill weed. I'm going to add that in there. Alright, and then I'm going to use one of my most favorite kitchen tools. It's just this little brush. So I'm going to stir it up, and I'm going to just paint the potatoes with this butter mixture. And I try not to make it too buttery. I wanted it to have like a little bit of texture to it. It'll just make it a little easier with painting the potatoes. Alright, so I'm just going to bring that a little closer So how I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna kind of spread these apart a little and try to get the butter in there. It's actually going in pretty well. If you cannot eat butter, you can also use ghee, or they have grass-fed butter as well. That sounds kind of silly though. Feed your butter grass. Alright, so this is actually going pretty easy. So I'm just going to open that up and then just kind of brush them a little bit. Alright, so that's the first one. Oh, that one doesn't want to open too much. And so I have the oven preheated to 450. And then these are going to go in there for an hour. And then I'm hoping by the time they are done in there, they're going to be opened up a little bit more, so that way I can put in the ingredients, some cheese and whatnot. I also want to try to make one of these with some bacon. That also sounds good. But today I'm just going to put in some cheese. Alright, so I'm going to just do that to them and just paint them a little bit. Alright, I have all of the potatoes buttered. I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more seasoning to the top of them. Just a little. So this is just onion powder. I'm also going to add just a little bit of oregano. And then I'm just going to add some of this everything but the bagel. Pretty much anything I've put this on just tastes amazing. So let's just see what that tastes like on here. Just sprinkle a little bit. Alright, and then these are going to go in the oven for an hour. So we're going to check back on them. It said about an hour, hour 20, kind of depending on your oven. I have mine set on 450. So we're going to go ahead and put these in and let's see how they come out. So I still have the potatoes cooking, but I thought that I would kind of just do a review and just looking at different kinds of hot dogs and chilies. So I actually want to, in the future, I think I'm going to start doing this, is just making the chili and then separating it into bags. So that way we can just take it out and thaw it out. I think it would be a lot better for us to do. So we were looking at different kinds of chili. So this is which one we were normally getting before. So this is Hormel chili chunky with beef, chunky beef with beans. I read that wrong. But once you start looking at the ingredients, and all these are processed, I try my best to stay away from processed foods. But there are some better options, which is why I wanted to do this. So this one has water beef, beans, concentrated crushed tomatoes, doesn't sound bad. And then it has modified cornstarch. It has soy flour caramel color. So that's, you're adding color in there. I don't know why. We have chili powder, salt, corn flour, flavoring, sugar, green chilies, onion, spices, jalapeno. So it's not too bad, but it does have that modified cornstarch. And then you have cornstarch and corn flour. And I'm going to kind of get into, when I talk about kind of the research that I did with finding out that I had sarcoidosis, of just how much corn has an impact on the inflammation that's in your body, because it's literally in everything that we eat. So we're having like a lot of it. So this one is, and I think it's Vidi all natural chili with beans. So this one was the cheaper one. This one was in the middle price wise. So let's look at what's in there. Definitely a lot smaller of an ingredient list. It has water, beef, beans, cornstarch. At least this one isn't modified, but there is cornstarch. Tomato paste, salt, chili pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, and oregano. So this one is not that bad. But it does still have that cornstarch, and my diet is supposed to be staying away from corn. But if I did want to cheat, this one would be a good way to do that, because it's not modified. Alright, this one is Skyline chili, original chili. And I think it's so funny, I don't know if you can see that or not. It literally says cheese not included. I think that is hilarious. But anyways, So this is Skyline Chili, original chili, Cincinnati's famous. All right, so I was looking at the ingredients for this. This one was like 5 something a can, which is a lot. All right, so this one has beef, water, tomato sauce, which is water, tomato paste, dried yeast, spices, salt, dehydrated onion, garlic, paprika, and natural flavors. I don't really know what the natural flavors are, but that definitely sounds a lot better. And this one does not have any corn in it. So if you're on a corn-free diet, like I'm supposed to be, this one would definitely be the one to choose. So now I want to just talk about the hot dogs. So what would we normally get are just classic uncured wieners, Oscar Mayer. And so this one, and this is the one that I used to eat all the time. I mean, they taste good, but I just wanted to read. So it says mechanically separated turkey, which I don't think there's really anything wrong with. You got, you know, machines doing it, but they're supposed to clean them good. Mechanically separated chicken, pork, water, cultured dextrose, salt, corn syrup, distilled white vinegar, celery juice, sodium phosphate, cherry powder, and flavor. Just flavor. I don't really know what the flavor is. But once again, something else that has corn in it. So that's why I was trying to find some other ones to eat, just because I was trying to stay away from the corn. So this one is pretty good. This is Nathan, and we keep them in the freezer, so I'm trying to like pick off some of the frost to see it. So these are Nathan's, all natural. These are beef franks, no nitrites. Yeah, I was trying to see if there's anything under that. So it does, it's celery juice, but this one actually was also flavored with celery juice. All right, so it's at the bottom here. So this is water, salt, sugar, natural flavorings, dehydrated garlic, yeast extract, vinegar, cultured celery juice, cherry powder, and paprika. So I still try to stay away from the sugars, and even though it says sugar here, it still says 0 for that, but maybe it's just, I mean it does, oh, it says contains 2% or less of salt and sugar. Okay, so that's why. So these are the ones that I eat. They're a little bit longer and skinnier, which really doesn't make any difference, but if you're looking for the pack, just look for that. I mean, that's a pretty bright packaging. So there is ways that you can still eat things that are processed. Just make sure that you're looking at the ingredients. I always try to get nothing that says like modified or anything, because that's just, I feel like they shouldn't have to modify stuff. So tonight I'm going to be trying the Skyline chili. I'm hoping that this one's pretty good, even though it has the corn in it. You know, since we eat it like once a week, maybe that'll be something that I can add in. So if you guys are still trying to, you know, eat this kind of stuff, like if you're having a cookout or anything, there are other options that you can use. So I'm gonna go ahead, and the potatoes have 25 more minutes. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get these started and boiled. I don't think you guys really wanna watch me boil hot dogs, which is fine. So I'm gonna just do those, and we'll go ahead and start the chili, and we'll get the potatoes going as well. All right, so the potatoes are done. So what I did was cut up some cheese just into some 3 pieces here. I cut like 1 piece of cheese into 3 pieces. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put the cheese somewhere in there. I think I did enough to where each potato could have 5. So I'm just going to put the 5 in there. Just kind of wherever. I tried to make the cheese to the size of the potato, but it can come off a little bit. That's all right. And it looks like they split apart like I was thinking they were. The bigger potatoes seem to have split a little bit more. So maybe if you do them, you want to split them or use the bigger potatoes to cut. All right. So I'm just going to put these in here. I'm going to put them back in the oven for about, probably I think I'm going to just try it after 5 minutes and see how that works. so these are going in pretty easily. I might actually have to cut up a little bit more cheese, but that's all right. Because it's actually not that much cheese. And if I need to cut up some more, then I can. Alright, so I'm going to get all these in here, and then I'm going to throw the potatoes back into the oven, and we'll see what they look like once they come out. Alright, so they came out of the oven. They look really, really good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is just go ahead and put them on the plates. So I'm just going to kind of poke it out. I know you can't see it over here, but I'm just going to lay it out like that. So everybody is going to get a potato. Next time when I make these, I'm definitely going to put some more cheese in it. But I'm just going to lay them on there. And we have one extra one. Alright, that way I think you guys can see a little better. Alright, so I still have some of the cheese that just fell on the pan. So I'm going to add it in just some of the places where there wasn't a lot of cheese on there, which is good. Oh, I love this kind of melty cheese that you just can pull off the pan. It's so good. Alright, so I'm just going to add these in some of the places that don't have it. And then we have one more potato that's left over. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the chili. I'm going to put it on there and put the sour cream on top. And then just however everybody wants to fix their hot dogs is how we're going to put it on the side. Alright, well that's about it for tonight. Be sure to check out my Instagram page to see what the final plate looks like once everything is on it. If you have watched this far, thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. And if you make one of these, just tag me in it on Instagram and I will share it. Alright, well thank you guys very much, and I'll see you next time for hashtag mommy, or not mommy and mood, that's actually tonight. Hashtag make up together, how to make a simple dinner. See you next time.